Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdell. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. It's review day! Today I'm going to talk about the Outdoor Research PL-based liner gloves. Are these possibly the best liner gloves in the world? And more importantly, why would you need a pair of liner gloves when you might have crazy gloves like this? Let's find out. So when you're on a trek, on a hike, on an expedition, climbing some faraway mountain and it's going to be cold, what sort of gloves do you bring? That is a super tough question because I've been all around the planet into some pretty brutal locations, including Denali, including Antarctica, and including Greenland. I need a Greenland book, but you know, having the right type of gloves is absolutely critical to having a good experience, because if you have bad gloves and your fingers get cold, you can kind of deal with cold fingers, and it's not as bad as cold toes, but boy, once your fingers get cold and you're hurting, it really just shuts you down. So I'm going to talk a little bit about liner gloves, why I think these are the best, and how you can use them. But first, if you wouldn't mind just hitting the subscribe button in the right bottom of the video player, or hit the subscribe button just below. That helps me support this channel and keeps bringing this information to you. You won't get deluged by emails or anything, but it just hits the subscribe button, builds up the count, and helps me to bring these videos continuously to you. So what's the big deal about gloves? I mean, you could just go down to Walmart or Big Five or anywhere and get a pair of liner gloves and they're all the same, right? No! There are lots of different manufacturers of gloves. My favorite manufacturer is Outdoor Research. Their gloves, to me, are hands down the best. These are Outdoor Research gloves. I have my other mittens that are Outdoor Research gloves. The midway, I mean, I've just like, I should buy stock in Outdoor Research. Yeah, well, maybe, maybe not. But by the way, Outdoor Research doesn't give me any financial compensation for these gloves. I don't receive some like, oh, hey, let's send Aaron a pallet of gloves or anything. No, I go to the store or I go online and I purchase these. I'm going to put a link below to the PL liner gloves and also my Alpine gloves as well, so you can check them out. So when it gets cold and you're thinking about this, what do you use? So let me show you about these PL liner gloves. So one of the things about them is the fabric is really strong. They're still stretchy in both lengthwise and widthwise, but I have yet, and I'll say that now, to ever put a hole in these. I've had Icebreaker, Ibex, North Face. I mean, I've had every liner glove out there, and I've had some of them where they literally disintegrated like in the first day or two of use. That stunk. Now, I love my Icebreaker clothing. I love my Icebreaker base layers and long underwear, but the gloves, the super thin liner gloves, wool just doesn't last. It's just a thing about this. So even though I prefer wool as a lower base layer, the synthetic fabric of this glove is just incredible. So I'm going to do the Michael Jackson or the O.J. Simpson, except, you know, without the whole murder part. Oh, did I say that? And I'm going to show you that this glove fits incredibly well. I don't have incredibly long fingers or incredibly short. My fingers are just pretty mid-size. But one of the things is I highly recommend you go to the store and try on these gloves if you can. If not, just order from Amazon, especially if you have Prime. Bring them in. These sizes are, let's see, let me tell you. Okay, so these are large. I am 6 feet tall. You can see what my hand size is here. And the large fit me extremely well. And I'm about 165 pounds, so I'm not a big hulking dude like The Rock, but I'm not a little skinny dude either. So the large fit me very well. Now that sounds kind of crazy, like, oh, large, But really, I mean, you got to remember there are women's, I think there are women's gloves as well. If not, women might get the typically the medium or the small. So these are very good. But you'll notice these little thumb patches here. And what these are the smartphone patches where you can actually do stuff with your phone. Hey, check it out. Pretty cool. I can turn on the flashlight and everything with the glove. Now, if I use the back of my hand, touch it there, nothing happens, or barely. But if I use the touch surface, it's very nice. Now, if you're a person that uses a smartphone or a smart device that has a touch screen, these things are very important. Hey, by the way, if you don't have these, there's a secret hack. Use your schnoz. Check it out. I've done that countless times where I need to use my phone in a cold location, and I just turn it on, hit it with my nose, and voila, it works. So you don't need these special touch pads for your smart devices. However, they are a nice touch. Also, you can see here that these gloves have a grip to them, so that a little bit of grippy texture. Now, I have to say that over my expedition in Antarctica, over 90 days, eventually these wear off. Now, that's an extreme circumstance where I'm wearing these gloves literally 24 hours a day, because in Antarctica and on Denali, let me show you here, on Antarctica and on Denali, here's me in Antarctica, here's me in Denali, the conditions are so dry that if you take your gloves off, I would take my liner glove off and sit there and watch my hand, and in half an hour, my hands and the fingers would be split and bleeding. I mean, it was a misery fest. So what I would do is I would have one pair of liner gloves that I would wear during the day, during my trekking, and then in the evening I would put on a second pair of gloves to keep my fingers dry so I wasn't sweating in them. Or not keep my fingers dry, but keep me from keeping these too greasy. So yes, I was carrying a second pair of gloves. Normally I don't like to carry that much weight. However, if your fingers are cold and you're skiing along, it's utterly miserable. Now, you might say, hey Aaron, oops, my gloves have liners in them. Now these are pretty heavyweight gloves. I use these from 80 degrees latitude to 88 in Antarctica, and they work very well, but I use them with liner gloves. And I simply put the liner glove on here, and then I put my right-handed glove on here, and now this vastly increases the warmth. But a huge advantage of using this liner glove is it keeps my greasy paws, where I haven't washed myself in 3 months. And when was the last time you didn't have a shower in 3 months? Let me tell you how fresh you aren't. These gloves kept my big gloves free of grease and oil for a long, long time. And now, I mean, I can just feel the warmth pouring out of these. It's literally incredible. The nice thing about these liner gloves is they're tough enough to where if you need to do something, they're actually standalone. They're, no problem. The bigger gloves that have built-in liners, I have yet to find a pair of liner gloves that can generally be taken out and used by themselves. They get kind of tore up. They're really just meant to be in the glove. But these Outdoor Research PL base gloves, I use them all the time. The one disadvantage is if you're using these with Velcro, they get torn up a bit. There is the next weight size up. These are the, I remember, oh, here we go. I'll have to look up what they are. I'll look it up. But there's the next weight size up. They're a little bit stiffer. They're not as flexible as these guys. So, there's a couple steps up. I'll put links to that. But if you're in a dry location or you're trekking and you're always ending up with cracked, miserable fingers, getting a pair of Outdoor Research PL base liner gloves will make all the difference in your trekking experience. You have a much better time, not be miserable, having flexibility, and having a system that layers and does very well. I can't recommend them enough. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please like and comment on my video. Scroll to the bottom, let me know what I'm doing, offer me a suggestion for a video. Also, please again hit the subscribe button at the bottom right hand of the video. Just hit subscribe, and that helps support me to continue my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Also support me on Venmo and PayPal. Thank you for watching.